Let me just share my screen. Sorry, I almost forgot to share. Okay. Alright, so we're going to be talking about the first one today, right now, and that's called Buying a Car Lesson. So when I click on the reading pane, it should bring me to this. And so I just wanted to talk about a couple things in here because I think that this lesson is just a little bit misleading, but I still want you guys to go to do this one and complete it because it introduces some key terminology about buying a car, and so it's worth it for us to do it. However, I'm going to scroll down here, owning versus leasing. I feel like they're a little bit misleading because they don't give a third option. In this lesson, they have you guys go through two different options where you buy the car, you're owning it, and you take out the loan, and you make monthly payments on it. And then they also have you go through leasing a car, making the lease payments. And so then I think it's question number 8. Once you get there, then they say, okay, which one was least costly, and what's the price, or whatever. And then the answer is leasing. And so I don't like the fact that they only show these two comparisons. First of all, in general, it's cheaper to own a car. Overall, you're gonna spend less money if you buy the car outright if you're going to keep it for a long period of time, more than 2 or 3 years. But leasing is advantageous only if you're gonna just buy a new car every 2 years. Then that's what this lesson is pointing out, that then the leasing is less expensive as long as there's certain considerations. But what I don't like about the lesson is they don't show you the third option, which is buying an older car instead of a newer car, and holding on to that for a long period of time. And that option is by far the most cost effective. And I want to prove that to you because I want to show you something. Down here, let's see here, I'll minimize this, let's get to that page. So I did a search. I searched Dave Ramsey, and then I also searched car depreciation. And this is one of the first sites that came up. So this is the Dave Ramsey website. And so let's talk about depreciation. I want to go down and just show you this table. Assume you buy a $30,000 car. The first minute that you drive it off the lot, that brand new car is now worth $27,000. Now these are averages, but let that sink in for a minute. So that price, you just paid $30,000, you signed on the dotted line, you're making monthly payments. Now, you drive it off the lot. That 1 minute you're driving that car, you better smell good. That new car smell better smell good, and you're feeling really good with that new car smell because that's about the most expensive sniff that you're going to take. It's a $3,000 breath of air that goes, oh, that new car smell. I just have to own a brand new car. Well, if you have to, you just lost $3,000 in 1 minute. And in 1 year, you just lost $6,000 from $30,000 down to $24,000. And so the reason I'm showing you this chart is cars depreciate at the highest rate at the beginning when they're brand new, first year, second year, third year, and then it starts to slow down the depreciation rate. And so what I do, and this is what I've never driven a brand new car, I've never bought a brand new car, because I like money. You guys have seen the cabin that I'm building up in the mountains. Because I'd like to put my money into something that doesn't go down in value. I want to put my money into something that goes up in value. And so the best way to own a car is to buy an older used car. And you buy it around here. That's what I do. I usually buy my car in this range, either 4 or 5 years old. And look at that. It's already lost half its value. And now, for the next 10 years, I can drive a car I can buy it when it's 5 years old. And over the next 10 years, it'll only go down to maybe, let's say it goes down to $4,000 over the next 10 years. So let's say I lost $8,000 on it there, the depreciation. For 10 years of $8,000 versus 5 years of $6,500, 16 grand and a half. That's a big difference. So that's where I save a lot of money, and that's how I'm able to afford to build that cabin up in the mountains. All right, so I just wanted to point that out. And here's another thing that Dave Ramsey points out. The 5 vehicles with the lowest depreciation, meaning they depreciate at the lowest rate, where you can, 5 years later, you can sell it for the lowest decrease in price. However, he does mention down below, because these have a low depreciation, he mentions down here, that it's also more expensive to buy them on the front end. So those are typically higher priced cars, but they hold their value better because these typically have the least amount of, I know Toyotas for sure. I don't have any experience with a Jeep Wrangler, but I know I've owned Toyota, and I know that these guys have taken, in my personal experience, I've had a lot less repairs, and that's why I think people like them, because I've had to do a lot less, spend a lot less money on repairs. Now, 5 vehicles with the highest depreciation. Look at these top two. Nissan Leaf, Chevy Volt. And you got the BMW 7, Mercedes S-Class, and the Ford Fusion. Wow, that's interesting. The highest depreciation. What that means is you drive it off the lot, 5 years later, it's lost the most in value. These guys are holding the most in value. Now, there's other charts and lists where you can see more than just the top 5. But I just wanted to point that out, get that out there for you guys. And now you guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And I'm going to go ahead and pause my video here.